I know the title is a little bit clickbait, but today I wanted to talk about three new things that are changing with Overwatch 2. The first thing I wanted to talk about is endorsements and how in the original Overwatch endorsements, we have the three categories for endorsing a teammate, like sportsmanship, uh, good teammate, and shot caller. Um, as well as being able to endorse enemies for good sportsmanship. So going forward in Overwatch 2, the endorsements will all be just one big category and it will only be for your teammates. Now, I'm curious if there's going to be any kind of change going forward with friends list and, trying to endorse people that you already know. I don't think that's going to change. I think that would be kind of interesting. I do think that changing the endorsements in this way is going to make it just a little bit easier to be positive in the game, while certain other changes that they're making are just going to make it a little bit harder to be negative or harder to be toxic in Overwatch 2. And anytime that we can make it easier to be positive and harder to be negative, I think it's probably going to be an overall good change. That brings me to number two, which is general chat in the main menu is going away. I am so thankful that this is just disappearing because so many times I would load up Overwatch and just right there in the main menu, global chat, general chat, whatever you call it, is just full of people being like just spamming things or being just all around negative or hurtful for no reason. So doing away with features like that, I don't think is going to hurt anybody. I think that it's just overall going to be a good change for the game. And that way, honestly, when you load up the game, you don't have to just immediately see a bunch of nasty comments or spam links that you can't even click on because it's not that kind of a chat. Now, that brings me to the final thing I want to touch on today, which is the player levels and portrait frames. So now instead of just looking at somebody's name in the game and seeing a certain portrait or seeing a certain number underneath their name, you're actually going to have to just wait and see how they play. The only way other than that to check their stats or anything like that is they will have to have their profile set to public so that you can go in and look at who they play or how they play or their ranking or anything like that. And actually, profiles in Overwatch 2 are going to be set to private by default, which another thing that I think is good. I don't think that seeing the portrait frames benefited anybody. I think they looked cool, especially at higher levels, but all in all, that level also didn't mean anything. It was just time spent in the game, essentially. And if you played with a group, like played with your friends more than you played by yourself, then you would rank up that level faster, which still doesn't mean anything. So skill had nothing to do with it, but people would see a higher number, think that you ought to be better than you are, or something like that. And, I've seen game chat kind of go a certain way because of things like that. And that's just kind of irritating. I'm glad that we won't have any visible player level or portrait frame anymore. So overall, I think these are three minor changes that are probably going to help keep the game just a little bit more positive, or at the very least, keep out a little bit of the negativity around certain things. Now, if you made it this far, I am curious if you agree with what I was talking about here. If you think any of this is just a stupid change, I also want to hear that opinion. So let me know in the comment. And that's it. Bye.